Jeff, this week isn't, I mean, obviously last week there was a lot of drinking and dunking. This week, so far through the first 2 weeks, Teddy has not done that. So he's going to be trying to push the ball down the field. So what are some things that you guys are going to have to do to be able to prepare for that?
I mean, it's a combination of things. Obviously, our rush has to come alive and not give him a lot of time back there, and we got to be sound on the back end. It's interesting because, I've been around Teddy Bridgewater for a long time now, being in the NFC South and just in general, and he's a guy that's, like, historically been known as a high percentage guy, short intermediate passes, and for the first time, like, he's pushing the ball. I feel like for the real first time, there's a concerted effort to throw deeper, and it's going to test us. It's going to be a great test for us, for sure.
What's the challenge in a game like this past Sunday, where you get a lot of sudden change situations? How challenging is that for our defense?
It's for sure challenging, but at the same time, it's an amazing opportunity for these guys to really demonstrate who they are. It's really easy to be a really good defense when times are good and there is no sudden change and everything is as you practiced it. So, it's unfortunate from a team perspective, but from a defensive perspective, I think that we got a group that really relishes those opportunities, and you saw that. I thought you saw that come to fruition a little bit this past Sunday.
You talk about Teddy going down the field more. The challenge for your DBs that they faced this week, how do you think they've performed so far?
They're definitely improving. They're a work in progress. We got a long way to go still, but they've showed promise. They've done some things that maybe we all thought they might struggle with a little earlier, and they've proven to be up for the challenge. And this week will absolutely challenge them in that way as well. Because like's been said, like they're gonna push it down the field, and they got some receivers that can go. So it'll be a great test.
What stands out about Sutton?
Obviously, there's speed and hands and the ability to run routes is exceptional. There's just consistent separation from DBs. But I think that it seems like him and Teddy Bridgewater have really developed a relationship and they have a connection because he's looking for them. He's throwing them out of breaks. He's throwing them open. They're doing some things that typically, like a quarterback, wide receiver, have to have like substantial time together to develop that relationship. But it seems as though that they're already there. So it's going to be a great challenge.
How do you handle, Jeff, when you had a play like Sunday, the broken tackles that Damian Harris run? It's not like a trend. You guys haven't been missing tackles all over the place.
Right.
That one play was rough.
Absolutely.
How do you handle that when you come in the film room on Monday?
We're just honest about it, for what it was, and obviously, starting with myself, that is not the standard that we look to uphold. It's not the brand of defense that we'd like to demonstrate every Sunday, and it's something that to be completely honest, we were all embarrassed about, coaches, players alike. So it's something that it can't be a trend for us to play the level of defense we want to play.
From your time as a player and coach, you've obviously seen a lot of young quarterbacks come and go. Just curious what your belief is in Zach to be able to overcome these early hurdles and ultimately be the quarterback you expect him to be at a high level.
Right. From a skill set perspective, he's as talented, if not the most talented quarterback I've been on a team with. Some from arm talent to athletic ability, to timing, to all the things that he has. And plus, he's got this real authentic swagger, confidence about him. But he plays a position that is an absolute monster to start as a rookie. You look at the great quarterbacks of this league, they either struggled as rookies or they didn't play as rookies, one or the other. So I still have tremendous faith in him, as our team does, as the entire organization does. He's going to have... we understand he's going to have some days that are rough, and there's going to be some bumps in the road. It's just part of the process of growing at that position, and but we all stand behind him, and we think that, the fact that he's playing, it's so necessary to go through these bumps to become the quarterback he needs to be. So, but the talent is absolutely there. So, I look forward to the day when it starts clicking. Hopefully this Sunday we start to see a turn.
The Broncos, I mean, they've been averaging, I think, about 130 yards on the ground, I think fifth most in the NFL. So what challenge will they present on the ground attack?
Or they're committed to it. You know, you can always see the brand of a defensive head coach: shorten the game, control the ball, keep the defense off the field, move the chains. You know, so they're not the type of team that, you know, you stuff it a couple times and they abandon it. Like, they're committed to it. They're going to give the ball to the guys, and they got two runners, I think, that can really run. Like the rookie, Javonte, he is exceptional. Like, he runs with just a different sort of leverage and power and you know, contact balance, and he's got a brutal stiff arm that he has consistently showed throughout the preseason. Obviously, he did in college in the first two games. So he's a great challenge. Melvin Gordon's a great challenge. I think their O-line is better than people think too, and they got obviously an offensive coordinator that's absolutely committed to the run game. So it's going to be a great challenge for us. You know, that's I think when you face Shermer's offenses, that's where you have to start. You have to start with stopping the run game. So we'll absolutely be committed to doing that.
How is Quinnen played through the first two games? How's he graded out?
You see consistent progress from him. I mean, it is brutal for anybody to miss as much time as he did and then just get thrown into the action. So was there some rust? Yeah, and he would admit to that. But you see all the special stuff. It's there. And you know, the more he plays, the more you start to see it. So, you know, he'll consistently get better. He's starting to feel himself a little bit more. I'm starting to see his energy and his confidence and his swagger and that little gleam in his eye that he has. So I'm excited about him going forward. He's going to be exactly the player we think he is.
On the Harris touchdown, is there anything Quinnen could have done? Because, I mean, they looked like they double-teamed him right at the point of attack.
Yeah, I mean, that
like
was
a chop block, actually. Did you think it was with the...
Whether it was or wasn't, that was a byproduct of a lot of guys not making the play. You know, it's starting from a lot of guys. Like, all 11 guys, we put that on. All 11 guys plus the coaching staff. You know, none of us got that one right. So it's something that can't happen again.
Coach, what happened with the decision with B.J. Goodson retiring? You had to make that decision at some point with the 49ers. Why did he do it? And did you have a chance to talk to him?
I did have a talk with him, and he's a very mature, very well put together young man. Has a really clear understanding of the decision he's making, and I think he's making it for the right reasons. I know he believes he's making it for the right reasons. So we absolutely supported that decision. Obviously, it was a personal decision between him and some things that were going on in his life, and I think he walks away with a whole lot of peace and clarity regarding the decision.
One thing that the Broncos have been doing a lot lately, well, not a lot lately, but they've been running like a lot of crossers, and then they'll set it up for a deep shot over the top. And I remember in the third quarter against the Jag, they were able to hit something for 55-yard gain. So it seems like with crossers, it's about trying to confuse the defense. So what can you all do to make sure when they try that they aren't as successful?
You know, as much as they try to confuse us with that, we try to do the same, you know. So obviously crossers are really good versus man coverage. They create issues. They create picks and rubs and natural picks and rubs, and they create some confusion regarding whose man it is. So obviously we have to have great communication regarding who has who. We have to mix up the tools in which we utilize as far as man is concerned, and then there's times where we got to sell man and play zone, and sell zone and play man, and create the same sort of confusion for the quarterback in his eyes.
What did Colbert show you guys to get the nod this past week?
You know, obviously this is a guy that's got familiarity with the system, you know, being with Coach Sala back in San Francisco for a substantial amount of time. So it probably starts there, the fact that he's just got more time on task and he's done it more. And then it's, you know, you got a big, fast athlete, too, at the same time. That's exciting from that standpoint. So, you know, I'm excited about just the more reps he get, how good he can get, you know, and to have J-Dub in the house, it's great to have some depth. And obviously we got some reinforcements coming off injured reserve here pretty soon. That'll add even more depth to the position. But I'm happy with the safeties, though,
Jeff,
for sure.
The roughing the passer on Shaq Lawson, it looked like he got pushed right before he was about to sack Mac Jones. Did that impact the helmet to helmet, in your opinion? Because he was on one trajectory, then the guy pushed him.
Right. It may or may have not. You know, I don't want to get myself in trouble or anybody else in trouble, but it's just in those moments you have to strain, you know, at all costs, by any means necessary, that regardless you hit them or not, that you keep your head out of the contact. So even if you get pushed or not pushed, you got to strain to do it. I get it. I recognize, acknowledge that it is hard. You know, it is hard. It's something that he's done his entire life, whether pushed or not. Like, that's how you finish the tackle. And it's not like he hit with the crown of his helmet by any means, you know. But there was a little bit of face-to-face on it, and the league has you know, has demonstrated to all of us that they're gonna throw that flag. So whether he gets pushed or not, I don't know if they'll ever give us that grace. But at the same time, he knows, and we all know as rushers, that you have to strain at the highest level to keep your head out of contact.
Last year, one game from DJ.
There were a few plays, even though the Patriots didn't take advantage of it, where there was some miscommunication. There were some plays that they were able to take some advantage of it. What goes into when a defense has communication breakdowns?
Sure, that's a big question. Obviously, we don't want any communication errors, and really the premise of this defense is simplicity first. You know, so when we have breakdowns, they're disappointing. You know, because we try to keep it fairly simple from that standpoint, so that the communication can be on point, the execution can be on point, and you know, when you have problems though with communication, obviously that we didn't rep it well enough, we didn't practice it well enough. You know, the player wasn't necessarily on his details. It's something that we can't tolerate, though, from a player or coaching perspective, because, as I've said before, as little as we do, that needs to be right. Are you going to lose one-on-one battles here and there? Yes, that's part of playing defense in the NFL, but you can't lose the opportunity because the execution of the communication wasn't right.